The first time I stood in the door of a C-130, I was terrified. Not nervous, not anxious, but terrified. That moment changed everything I thought I knew about fear. And it's not because it made me fearless. Trust me. It's because it taught me that fear isn't the same thing as stop. We're not robots. People think that brave people feel something different than the rest of us. That if you're scared, you shouldn't do the thing. I'm here to tell you that that's wrong. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting while afraid. And real talk, the only way to learn that is to do something that terrifies you and survive. I think jumping out of a plane is a pretty efficient way to learn that lesson. Let me tell you what it's actually like. You're sitting in a C-130. And if you're lucky enough, you're sitting in a C-17, but a C-130 will stick with that. And you're packed in like sardines with other soldiers, possibly jumping combat equipment. It's loud, so loud, you can't even talk. You gotta scream. The plane immediately starts climbing to altitude, and you're running through the procedures in your head. Then the jump master opens the door. You hear that wind, and suddenly it becomes real. There's just air, a giant piece of metal that you're on, a piece of cloth on your back, and about 1,000 feet between you and the ground. You're hooked up, and you start shuffling towards that door. Before you know it, the person in front of you disappears, and then it's your turn to hand that static line off. I mentioned it briefly in one of my previous videos, how my first jump I was shaking like a leaf. And I'm gonna tell you, that fear does not go away. You are scared every time you jump. If you're not, then maybe you're jumping a little bit too much. I was terrified, but deep down inside, I knew that that wasn't an option. So I went ahead and stepped out. Once I stepped out, felt like a roller coaster. I'm looking up, making sure that the canopy opened up properly, there's no holes, checking to see if there's any twists in the risers. I'm looking around to see if there's anybody else that I recognize while I'm in the air. And then I take a gander at the scenery. I'm like, wow, this is so beautiful. The fear went away temporarily. Then I realized we don't land on our feet. We have to fall. So I look down, I keep my feet and knees together, and then I'm terrified again because I am about to hit the ground. So I keep my eyes on the horizon and I land. What a rush. Every time you land, it doesn't matter how hectic the jump was, you're always so relieved. You're glad that you faced your fear, and you know that you're going to be going through the whole thing all over again when you jump again. And then you're also like, please, I don't want to have a night jump. Or you're trying to find out a way to not jump combat equipment, try to jump Hollywood, which means no combat equipment. But here's what that moment teaches you. Fear is just information. It's not instruction. Your body is telling you, screaming at you, this is dangerous, you need to pay attention. That's useful information, but it's not telling you what to do about it. That decision is still yours. We get caught up and we think fear means stop. After airborne school, after multiple jumps, I understood that fear and action can coexist. You can be terrified and still move. The fear doesn't have to finish before you start. And here's the other thing. Fear of the same thing gets quieter with repetition. I'll tell you right now, my 5th jump wasn't like my 1st, and my 10th jump wasn't like my 5th. The fear was still there, but it was manageable. Anyone who says it disappears completely, I think is lying, but familiar, sometimes almost boring. That's what exposure does. It doesn't eliminate fear, but it trains your nervous system to tolerate it. And that tolerance transfers to everything else. Whether it be hard conversations, big decisions, taking risks, that could fail publicly. The fear is there, and I act anyway. I'm here because I know that I can, and so can you. Here's the part that's funny in hindsight. The actual jumping, that's not really the hard part. Gravity does most of the work. You step out, the static line does all the work for you, it pulls your chute, and then you're floating in the air. The hard part is the door and right before you land on the ground. The moment before, when you could still choose not to, where everything in your body's screaming to stop, and you override it. That's the work. That 3 seconds before you step out, life is mostly like that. The hard part isn't the thing itself, it's the door. The moment of commitment. Those 3 seconds when you can still back out. Those moments when you can go do something, but you choose, I'll do it tomorrow. Once you're in the air, you're committed. All you can do is handle what comes. So here's my question for you. What's your door right now? Not the thing you're scared of generally, but that specific moment of commitment you're avoiding. The conversation, the leap, the decision that you keep circling but won't step into. You're not going to stop being scared of it. That's not how fear works. You're just going to have to act while scared. I learned that at around 1,000 feet. You can learn it anywhere. The principle is the same. Fear is information, not instruction. The decision is still yours. Tell me in the comments, what's your door? What's the thing you've been circling but haven't stepped into yet? I'm not here to give you a motivational speech, but I will tell you this. There have been some people throughout history that have stepped through some serious doors. Stick around for my mini documentaries that are coming soon. You're going to love that if you love this. Those people taught me a lot, changed my perspective on a lot of things, and I want to do them a proper service. I want to do right by those individuals that are no longer living and that are still here right now, and approach this with integrity. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. I'm Steve, former Special Operations Support Paratrooper, and I make videos about courage, character, the invisible borders we cross, historical people, historical times, the spiritual. There's no judgment here. This is a channel where we learn from each other. You teach me as much as I teach you. We bridge cultures, we bridge times. We give a voice to the voiceless. This isn't a motivational channel, and it sure isn't a veteran channel, even though I am one. It's a channel for those who think deeply about what it means to live with intention. If that's you, subscribe, stick around. I want you here. We're building something here. And if you know someone who's standing at their own door right now, someone who needs to hear that fear is not a stop sign, send this to them. This might be the nudge they need. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.